Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie. No cup of tea. I've got some water. Oh, forgot to make a coffee to sit down to do this. Anyway, never mind. It won't be long. I've just come on to do a short update on a couple of cases that we've been following. Mainly Samantha Murphy over in Australia. The mum who's gone missing when she went out jogging on last Sunday morning, so it's nearly a week now that she's been missing. Apparently, supposedly went out for a jog and has not been seen since. And the other update I want to give you is on the acid attacker in the UK, the guy who threw acid, or we're not sure exactly what the substance is, some sort of corrosive substance into his ex-girlfriend's face, assaulted her and her children, and she's got life-changing injuries. Thankfully, the children, it seems like they're going to be okay. He sustained quite a severe injury himself from this corrosive substance, and we've got a little bit of an update on what the police think has happened to him. So we're going to start off with Samantha. This really is a developing story, isn't it? As I say, Samantha went missing last Sunday after going out for a jog, supposedly. The last CCTV of Samantha was actually at her house. There's been no CCTV shown of her actually on the trail that she was supposed to have gone jogging on or walking on. Having said that, there were two false sightings. There were two false sightings of joggers that were initially thought maybe to be her, but it turns out that those people came forward and said it was them, and so it wasn't her. Okay, so let's have a little look. So there's been a little bit of, they're not really updates in the sense of progress, if you like. Let me see. So one thing that has been talked about is that her husband, Mick, because we watched in the last video I did on this, we watched Mick and her daughter, her oldest daughter, give statements. Daughter's statement in particular was an appeal for her to come home. It was very heart-wrenching. And Mick also had something to say. I'm going to link that video in the description box or somewhere so that you can see that video if you haven't seen it already. Now, shortly after that, unfortunately, the search of the park, the natural park where she's gone missing or supposedly went for a run, has been scaled back, apparently. So seems to be the general opinion by the police that they've searched the places that they think she might have been and she wasn't there, and they may well be concentrating on other things now. And also they have brought in now, they've changed it to a missing persons inquiry, if you like. They've brought in specialist missing persons detectives. There was some speculation that they'd brought in homicide detectives, but they're saying no, they're not homicide detectives, they're missing person detectives. They have more resources, so anyway, so let's have a look at what they say. So yeah, Missing Persons Unit take over a search for Samantha Murphy and say they have significant concerns for her safety. Let me share this and then we can read it together. So here's Samantha. She's 51 years old, and she went missing. She just supposedly went out for a jog and just never came home. Let's just have a look at this video.
Mom, we love you so much and we miss you. And we need you.
So this is her oldest daughter, and this is Mick, her husband. This was the impassioned plea that she made the other day.
Home with us. Please come home soon.
It was very hot that morning, so they were concerned about her, if she had an accident, run out of water, taken ill. So the police basically, they're not ruling out foul play, but they're saying that the homicide department has not been tasked yet in this case. Now there was so she set out for her routine 20-kilometre run through the Canadian state forest on Sunday morning, but never returned. Data from Samantha's phone indicated a ping near a golf course, but the very strange thing about that ping was at 5:30 in the afternoon, and Samantha supposedly set off for a run at 7:30 in the morning. So, also a year before, a girl had been viciously attacked in that same place. So there's some consternation that there may be foul play. Yeah, there's a lot of talk about the mine shafts in the area. So, okay, so that's generally the story so far. How do I get that off now? So, what we're going to... Oh, I don't want to watch that. So, it says in this article, and is this Sky News? No, this is Newscom Australia. Police hold significant concerns for missing mum Samantha Murphy, as authorities appear to be changing tack.
50 years since we were.
They have shed light on the challenging terrain authorities have faced in the search for a missing Ballarat woman, Samantha Murphy, with rugged land, hiding old mine shafts pockmarking the area. Victoria's Missing Persons Squad officially took control of the effort to locate mother Miss Murphy 6 days after she vanished on Sunday after going out for a morning jog. So the 51-year-old was last seen by her family as she left her home on Eureka Street, Ballarat East, for a run at 7 a.m. on Sunday
established
morning.
here, that on the back of the conventional pap smear.
Crews have searched the Canadian State Forest and Mount Helen areas over the past 4 days, well, it is now 6 days, using mounted officers and police dogs. And it has also been revealed that CCTV footage put out by the police, which was thought to have shown Miss Murphy going for a jog before her disappearance, is actually of a different woman. Shortly before midday Friday, Victoria Police confirmed the missing person unit would be taking over. So they're still saying they've not ruled out anything. It's a challenging area that they're searching. Thick and rugged bush terrain. They're especially keen for people to check dash cams if they were in the areas of interest. There's little CCT available. And Inspector Heaney, which I think is this guy, Bob Heaney, he added that Miss Murphy was mentally and physically fit and a habitual jogger in rough terrain who could run over 15 kilometres at a time. So we had another press conference with Inspector Bob Heaney and Crime Command Detective Acting Superintendent Mark Hatz. So nothing immediate to indicate there's anything sinister, but we have a number of avenues of inquiry to pursue. It's important that people avoid unnecessary and unhelpful speculation. Very difficult to do, really. So it's thought she was travelling with her watch and her her phone, and her smartwatch, but police remain tight-lipped on what, if anything, these items have yielded. Now, there's been, we drew some comparisons with the Nicola Bulley case, because it's like the husband, Mick, said, oh, people don't just vanish into thin air. Somebody must know something. A lot of the words that have been said are very similar. And, at the end of the day, Mick is her husband. There's, the police will have started investigating him first. I would imagine they do. That's what they do. They start in the family circle and work outwards when somebody disappears. So her daughter Jess was very, very heartfelt. Her statement, you could see she was genuinely heartbroken. And she pled for her mum. Mum, we love you so much and we miss you. Please come home soon. And her dad, Mick, was comforting her. He did look as if he was crying when she was speaking, though he didn't cry when he was speaking. So Jess said, I can't wait to see you and give you the biggest hug when I do and tell you off for giving us so much stress. Bless. Yeah, so Mr. Murphy said people don't just don't vanish into thin air. Someone's got to know something. Whether it be any little thing that you may think is irrelevant, just call the police, let them know. Give us a bit of peace of mind, some hope. But of course, he is not appealing directly to Samantha. He is appealing to, the people, the local community. Yeah, this was the girl that was attacked a year ago in that same place by an unknown attacker. There've been unruly men troubling searchers, which just so annoyed because, so these people are out there searching for this woman and there's bloody unruly men around. Come on, what are you doing? What's this? Not seen this before. So now they're drawing a parallel between Nicola Bulley and experts warn that armchair investigators could hinder the search for missing woman Samantha Murphy. Similar to Britain's Nicola Bulley. Oh, it was us who hindered it, was it? Right, okay. Yeah. There is a Facebook group that has gone from, she started off, she wasn't expecting even 100 members and she's now got 10,000 members. See, it's them that's drawing this conclusion, surely. This is what they do it and then they blame everybody else. Maybe they're doing it on purpose. Yeah. I think it's just the age we live in. You've got to, they've just got to, there's no point in sort of denying that social media exists. You know, you can work with social media. Now, something else that I just wanted to show you, because a couple of days ago, Mick, the husband, he had to go to the police station for whatever reason. Apparently, he was in the police station for an hour. And when he came out, he was laughing. So this obviously, you know, people can say what they like, but, you know, you do not expect. Let me just share this photo to show you. You know, of any of the behaviour that you expect from someone whose wife is missing. You don't expect this, do you? Husband Mike Murphy gets encouragement from a friend at Buninyong police station. Yeah, you know, this, again, there's so many similarities. This, now him coming out laughing like that obviously is not a good look, is it? Whatever anyone thinks or doesn't think, whether he had anything to do with Samantha's disappearance or not, which we just don't know yet. We don't know anything. We shouldn't think he was involved, but then we don't know that he wasn't involved, and that's just what the police will be doing, is that it won't be ruling out anything. They'll be investigating Mike. Of course they will. They have to. And it may be that it's nothing to do with Mike, but why is he laughing? But anyway, who knows? Just suppose you just get caught off guard when photographers are hanging around, because his daughter Jess, their daughter Jess, she appealed for the media, the mainstream, because again, the mainstream media is going around being all sanctimonious, saying all these terrible online sleuths and what have you, doing all these terrible things, whereas it's them who's hanging around taking photos. And you know, in fact, Jess, when she spoke out, she said, please stop coming and taking photos outside our house, because I just want to feel safe in my own house. And that was for the mainstream media, not for the social media. You know, social media, just armchair detectives, just by the nature of their name, they investigate things from home. They're not out there taking pictures like this of Mick and putting them on their front pages and then saying, stop speculating. Anyway, so basically this is the story so far. It's not much of an update yet. We'll see what today brings. Every day might bring that break, mightn't it? That you know, and the best case scenario, of course, is that maybe she is lying in the woods somewhere, like, but alive, but just maybe she's broke her ankle, or, you know, she could have tripped up and she's waiting to be rescued. This is what we hope for. You know, that she's there and she's going to be rescued and she's going to be brought home safe and sound. Of course, every day that passes makes that, you know, less and less likely, but not impossible. So we've got to cling on to that, really, I think. And I'm sure that's what her family will be clinging on to. And I feel, you know, poor children every day that goes past. You know, Jess was really upset the other day, so every day that goes past, it'll be worse. So that's the update, if you like, on that. I know it's not much of an update. If there's, I'm out and about today, but any updates later on today, I will bring you if there's any developments whatsoever. So the next thing I wanted to look at, another case that we've been looking at, of the acid attack killer. Sorry, not killer, the acid attacker who, I mean, this was an awful story, wasn't it? An awful, awful news, because this guy, let's have a look. This guy, Abdul Edezi, he's the Clapham chemical attack suspect. They can't call it, even though they know it was him, but they have to call him a suspect. And he threw some corrosive material into the face of his ex-girlfriend. or maybe his current girlfriend, but they had been in a relationship. There was a relationship between them at some point, and also he assaulted her children, and then he ran off. And the poor lady, she was taken to hospital, and she's got what they call life-changing injuries, which in other words, she may lose an eye, although she is alive at least. And the children apparently are okay. After there been some worry about them, seems like they may be okay. And then he ran off, and he had quite severe injury himself. So Abdul Edezi is accused of a chemical attack, left 12 people injured, including a mother and her 2 young daughters. And the women's injuries are thought to be life-changing. So let's just have a look at this. Yeah. So bit by bit, they have been releasing CCTV footage, haven't they? Footage of him in a shop, footage of him walking along the road. Now they're saying they believe he will be dead. I thought from the beginning he probably would have done something to himself. Let's have a look. They believe he's most probably dead as they search the Thames for a body. So they think he's gone into the Thames. I just think he'd be running out of places to go, because although people might have helped him in the beginning, I mean, this is very serious, isn't it? I think he ran out of places to go probably, and I thought for a while, because there'd been no new sightings of him, I thought for a while that maybe he might have done something to himself. Anyway, so they plan to search the River Thames for his body. And he went on the run more than a week ago. He was believed to have gone in the water just a few hours after the incident. Now they're saying he was, in that same night, he was seen leaning over the railings of Chelsea Bridge. But the Metropolitan Police admits his body may never be found because of the speed of the current. Because the Thames is not like the River Wye. It is a much faster current. But he is accused of pouring a strong alkali on his ex-partner and also injuring her 2 daughters at age 3 and 8. I mean, 2 little dots, and in the attack at 7:25 that left a total of 12 people wounded. And the other reason I thought quite early on that maybe he might have done something to himself is because of the severity of his injuries. He could not walk about, unless he was literally being hidden somewhere where he never left the house. He could not walk about with those injuries and not be noticed. Of course, people would notice him. So the last sighting of him was a 35-year-old Edezi was on Chelsea Bridge just before 11:30. He crossed over the bridge, entered Battersea Park, then crossed back over the same bridge minutes later. Yeah, he was probably building up the, we could call it courage. It's a cowardice, that, because it means he'll never face justice, though he will in the next life, I suppose. The force said he walked with purpose before the bridge, and then his behaviour visibly changed. He walks up and down and can be seen leaning over the railings, just building up to do it. And there's been no CCTV of the suspect after this point. So Commander John Saville said his body may never be found due to the river's strong current. Thames is very fast flowing, very wide, lots of snags. It's likely that if he's gone in the water, he won't appear for maybe up to a month. And it's not beyond possibility that he may never actually surface. Now, I wonder if Mr. Folding will be trying to inject himself in here. Anyway, Detective Superintendent Rick Seward said the Met had tracked Edezis' movements from the Tower Hill area and asked whether police were willing to say that he was dead. Mr. Seward said, "I'm prepared to say he's gone into the water, and if he's gone into the water, that's the most probable outcome." So here we go. We've got where did it start off? Where it says his last known movements on the day of the attack. Right. Yeah, so yeah, who knows? So had Edezi not gone into the water, officers would have had a high degree of confidence in finding him. A behavioural psychologist commissioned by the police viewed the footage and believes it was possible he could have taken his own life. Of course it's possible. So, yeah, his ex-partner's injuries are thought to be life-changing. She may lose her sight in her right eye, and she remains sedated in hospital, still too ill to speak to the police. And the Met has said that the breakdown of the relationship could have been a motive for the assault.
We followed our CCTV inquiries up until just before 11:30 on the night of the attack. We have then meticulously searched and viewed all of the available CCTV cameras in and around the bridge, and with Transport for London's help, used the cameras on the buses that were crossing the bridge that evening. And we have no sighting of him coming off the bridge. And by his behaviour on the bridge, in terms of him walking across the bridge a couple of times and then stepping back and forward across the pavement, he's changed the way he was moving. It's a very likely, in fact, probable that he's gone into the water. Well, at the moment, we're working on just that CCTV. The river is a very, very dangerous place. It's very difficult to search. So our marine policing unit, who are experts at this, will do boat searching at low tide. But if he did go in the water, which is now 8+ days on, it's quite likely that he wouldn't surface for some while, and the experts would indicate that there is a possibility that he will never be found.
Oh dear, that's not very satisfactory, is it? But anyway. Yeah, and for those of you who don't know, the absolute scandal of this as well, even more than just the fact of what's happened, is he was a refugee, arrived in the UK via a lorry in 2016, and he claimed his life would be in danger if he returned to Afghanistan, which is where he's from. But even though he was convicted of 2 sexual offences in 2018, he was allowed to stay in the UK because his crimes were not serious enough to meet the threshold for deportation. This is just, you just cannot believe this. So, and I'm not anti-refugee by any way, shape or form. I believe we should allow refugees, people to claim refugee status in a dignified way. But if there's a problem like this, 2 sexual offences in 2018, but he was given refugee status regardless because they weren't serious enough, the crimes. Well, maybe ask the people who committed the sexual offences against, how serious do they think they are? They've probably ruined their lives. Just disgusting, absolutely disgusting. And this is from the government that's supposed to be, strict with refugees. Absolute rubbish. Anyway, this is a video of the actual attack.
I'm here to talk through a horrific incident that occurred last night, which resulted in a 31-year-old female and 2 children aged 3 and 8 being attacked with a corrosive substance, which we now confirm to be an alkali. A male was with them in the vicinity, a 35-year-old male called Abdul Edezi, and he left the scene. But the injuries to the female and children, they're in a stable condition, but we are just monitoring, but they don't seem to be life-threatening, but at this time they could be life-changing.
Yeah, so police officers were injured and local people who tried to help. A lot of people tried to help. They were very brave. So there are good people out there as well.
The male was last seen in the North London area, Caledonian Road. If you see him, I plead to not approach him. He's a 90, call 999. He has significant injuries to the right side of his face.
Yeah, so is he in the water? I hope they find him, because if they don't find him, there's going to be all sorts of conspiracy theories going on about it. So a marine policing unit will be carrying out boat searches at low tide in the area over the coming days. Now, just going through that, and when I mentioned Mr. Folden, it reminded me of something else that's been very similar in this case of Samantha Murphy. That's been another similarity, I think, with the Nicola Bulley case. And that is, of course, with the Nicola Bulley case, out come all these ex-police people who are now turned into, police bashers. Just strange, really. The more I think about it, the more strange it is. People that have had a career in the police or done well in the police force, and then when they leave the police, suddenly the police are crap without them, and they're just they were only good when they were there, and now they're rubbish. And there's been I'm talking about the likes of Mark Williams Thomas and other ex-detectives that start bad-mouthing the police once they're not in the police anymore. So there's one in this case that's come out of the woodwork, and I mean, you just think, what is this? It's like they leave with a bad taste in their mouth. And so then they feel like they have to rubbish the police after that. And of course, they've got it's an easy thing to do, really, because the police can't say anything. The police cannot say anything. So you can say what you like, really, as long as it's not litigious. And the police cannot defend themselves because they just can't do it, because they're still the police. So, yeah, anyway, we've got one in Australia now. A former detective insists that the mine shafts need to be searched. It just reminded me of Mark Williams Thomas, like coming on and saying what the police should do this and the police should do that, not actually knowing what the police have done or haven't done, because they're not actually part of the investigation. They are not in the police anymore. They haven't been in the police for 20 years, and the whole policing's changed, but they still think that they know better than the police. And I'm not, saying the police are perfect, because I know that, of course, they're not perfect. How can they be? But sometimes I just think, just pack it in. It's like just jumping on the bandwagon. Like, it's popular to bash the police these days, because the police have, obviously, there's been a lot of incidences, with Wayne Couzens and loads of bad publicity about the police. And it's easy to jump on the bandwagon, isn't it, if it suits you? So a former homicide detective has urged search teams to check local mine shafts for Samantha. Now, first of all, obviously they should check the mine shafts for Samantha, but how, he's not operating, he's just saying what they should do. They're operating within the confines of whatever funding they've got or what they can do. So they're working their way through the park first, because if they're, I'm sure that the mine shafts will be on their agenda. But or it's easy, isn't it? Say, oh, the police should do this or the police should do that. There's lots of things they should do, but there's not everything that they can do. Anyway, he thinks there's been a delayed response, and he's raised concerns about what he believes is a delayed response from the police after the mother of 3 was reported missing by loved ones. You see, when they say things like that, it's like they're saying that the police don't care. Of course the police care. And who do you mean by the police? I think those individual police officers and those people that are out there searching, yes, they do care about Samantha and finding her and bringing her home to her family. How dare you say that, really? It makes no difference to his life. It makes no difference to his life. Those police are the ones that are out there looking for her. And of course they care. Is he saying they don't care? Anyway, a retired homicide detective has been left surprised by investigators. Oh, that investigators from a specialist unit were not called in earlier. So if it sounds familiar, to help search for a mum who mysteriously vanished. Now, the thing is, I don't know, I would imagine all over the world every day, people go out and don't come back when they're supposed to come back, and the family are worried about them, and then literally half an hour later they come back, or an hour later they come back, or they are found like they've tripped over and they haven't been able to come back, or they might have had an accident, or and I've said before, that happened to a nephew of mine once, disappeared with his friends. And we called the police in the end because they weren't back when they were supposed to. And they walked him through the door as the police were there, at my sister's house. We were all there talking to the police, giving a description of what they'd been wearing and getting it completely wrong. He walked him through the door, so this does happen every day. So when they first get a call from someone saying, oh, someone went off on a jog and they haven't come back yet, they wouldn't immediately be thinking, oh, this is a murder, must be a murder. They'd be thinking, oh gosh, she may have tripped over somewhere, she may be lay in the brush somewhere. That's what your first thought would be. And they sent out search parties immediately. So I expect it, unless you've got a particular reason to think there is foul play right from the word go, would you? And then, other people I've heard are saying you should always treat it as foul play until you know it's anything else. That's another way of looking at it, I suppose, isn't it? But, she went for a run in a great big forest. You can't cordon off a whole, forest thing. Now, as soon as something supposedly was found, there was a cordon put up immediately while they took off that item, and it was realised that it was not anything to do with Samantha. But the police acted very quickly and cordoned off. So I don't know, I just feel like sometimes it's too quick to complain about the police, and it's normally someone like this who's been in the police themselves. It just surprises me, because wouldn't you be a little bit more protective of your career choice? Because you're like bringing disrepute, if you like, or casting doubt on your own career, your own what's the word, the thing that you were involved in. So she went missing on Sunday. It wasn't until Friday that the missing persons squad were brought in. And I think that's probably when they got, realised she's not in that park. Probably not in that park. Former homicide detective Charlie Bizzina was critical of the move by investigators, saying he expected them to be on the ground almost immediately. You know, this just sounds so much like Mark Williams' Twonk, doesn't it? But, you know, also I do think when he was in the police, that was probably better, more of a golden age for funding for the police. You know, now after these years of austerity, the police is starved of funding. I think people need to look at that and think about that. You know, they're always, they do have budgets. They're always up against them. It feels like I'm being an apologist for the police. I'm not. I like to look at two sides of everything, and that's what I'm looking at here. And I've said from day one, as far as the Nicola Bulley case was concerned, and many other cases, starvation of funds to the police has meant that policing isn't probably as good now as it used to be. Also, not so many people want to join the police. We don't have so many police officers because they don't want to join the police because everybody hates them. The wages are rubbish. Most of the time you're putting your life in danger and not being appreciated. So, you know, you can't blame them, really. Anyway, he would have expected the missing persons squad to have been on the ground on the Monday, because here we have a mother of three, well respected in the community, that's gone missing inexplicably. Should have created what it should have done, what they should have done. Created a dual investigation, both with the uniform and the support services doing ground searches, coupled with a crime investigation. In my opinion, it's best to err on the side of caution. Start at the highest level, then work your way down. I mean, I agree with him. I totally agree with him. To me, if you know, it should be assumed that something bad has happened, if you like, until it's proven that it hasn't. And then you're covering all avenues. And I do agree with him. All I'm saying is, are they able to do that now? Are they able to? So here we have the missing persons coming on board 5 or 6 days after the event. So I would imagine that the police probably thought that they were going to find him. This is annoying to me. So Mr. Bizzina argued that this is him, should have widened their inquiries from the outset, speaking with neighbours, friends and work colleagues for any clues. Well, you know, with respect, how does he know that they haven't done that? He doesn't know that they haven't done that because he's not part of the investigation. So why is he saying they should have done that, and how does he know that they haven't? Anyway, the large-scale hunt has been scaled back this weekend, police confirmed, due to the limited leads investigators have after 6 days of searching. It doesn't seem, because you know, she was running, for goodness sake. So running or walking, there's a limit to how far you could go. You know, there just is a limit to how far you could run. They said she routinely ran 25 kilometres. So you're presuming that they're going to have been searching within a 25-kilometre radius. Why would she have gone any further than that? But of course, she could have been abducted and taken, dragged further, I suppose. You know, I don't know. But the police, you know, they'll be working with the watch as well, the Apple Watch, and her phone that, as I say, did ping once at 5:30 that evening. Very odd, that. Makes you wonder if somebody else had her phone. And then he suggested crews still on the ground should look at the mine shafts, which locals this week flagged could be places of interest. I do think the police probably know that they're, you know, does he think the police are going to read that and go, oh yeah, the mine shafts, we never thought of that. I think the mines have to be looked at to see whether she may have inexplicably fallen into one of these. It may be that she went off the beaten track to relieve herself, whatever it may be. So you know, for all we know, she could be injured in the mine shaft. So he questioned if police had already conducted searches of mine shafts or called in experts to weigh in and give their opinion on the theory. Locals wanting to join the search have been told to go in pairs for safety and to remain cautious when combing through bushland. Something that I did think that was strange when the lady police officer was talking, and she said, we're not going to tell people, you know, somebody said, oh, would you advise people, you know, to go look in or to go searching? And she said, oh, well, we're not going to tell people what to do. They didn't say don't go looking, which seems strange to me, because do they really want a member of the public stumbling across a body if if something has happened, says Samantha? And how will that affect forensics, etc. But she seemed completely unconcerned about it, which just made me think for a moment that maybe they don't think she is there anyway. So it doesn't matter if people go looking for her because nobody's going to find her. Just something that occurred to me. Anyway, Good Samaritans were spotted on bikes and driving cars in Buninyong on Saturday looking for any signs of Miss Murphy, while her husband was spotted leaving the police station smiling. And, you know, someone might have just said something off the cuff to them. They just happen. I expect them photographers are just there, click, 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 hoping that they catch him off guard, hoping that they catch a picture like that, because they know that a picture like that of him smiling is going to make people click onto their stories. You know, that's just the way it is. So they're urging any motorists or residents come forward with security dash cam video. This is again very similar, isn't it, to the Nicola Bulley incident. Those with any footage captured on Sunday, February the 4th between 7 and 7 p.m. are urged to hand it in to investigators. So she's Caucasian, 173 centimetres tall, slim build, shoulder length blonde hair, last seen wearing black half-length leggings and a maroon brown singlet. Anyone who spots Miss Murphy or who has any information, I would imagine, should call 000 immediately. So there's your Mark Williams twonk of Australia. Here's poor Samantha. Samantha, you look at that picture and you think, if only she could tell us something. Yeah. So that's it. A little bit of an update this Saturday morning. Maybe see you later. I'm not sure yet. See how things pan out. If there's any updates, I'll definitely be letting you know. I'm just got to do something with my hair before I go out later. Anyway, have a lovely Saturday, whatever you're doing, and as always, live and love carefully, wisely, and don't put yourself in danger. I wouldn't say to someone, don't go off running in a forest. Do it, but take your phone, make sure you've got maybe a panic alarm, or anything that you'd make sure you're safe. Keep yourself as safe as possible, and where possible, obviously go out with somebody else or in a group. I mean, if you're like me, I wouldn't want to go in a group because you just want to go when you feel like. It's great going out with groups, these organised groups, but of course they're organised at certain times. And I'm a bit like, if I wanted to, I wouldn't go out running. I don't run, but I go out to go out walking. I like to think, I just fancy going out now for a walk and just go out instead of waiting for these programmed things. And today I'm going off walking with the dog. There's a few of us going, with the dogs. There's a few of us going, by the beach. Might try and take some footage actually of the beach and that. See, the weather's not brilliant. Actually, we had quite a lot of rain yesterday, but still, just to show you the sea. And yeah, so don't do anything dangerous, but don't be scared of living either. I mean, you know, these incidents, although sometimes it feels like it's, oh my God, it's everywhere, because we're noticing it now where maybe we wouldn't have noticed these things so much before. The Nicola Bulley case, that sort of made us look more closely. It's still really, really rare for anything like this to happen. So yeah, do something nice for you. Look after you. Have a pedicure, have a massage, go to a spa, go and get your nails done. Well, men and women, why not? Go and get your nails done. Do something nice for you. And I'll see you really soon in the next video. And until then, may your God, as always, go with you. Bye.